Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA. But it's 464. I am Brennan. UFC Fight Night. Vettori versus Elizeu numero dos. A lot of those lately, a lot of rematches. Okay, we're going to talk about that fight. We're going to talk about all the fights in this card, break them all down round by round, go through all those things, talk about some not necessarily controversial decisions, but a whole lot of dirty fighting, sloppy fights. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out, and I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into it because we got 5 rounds of bullshit to go over here. Man, didn't even make it 30 seconds without swearing. No, this one's going to be really annoying. Hoping not to go on too much of a rant because I've done it I don't know how many times in these videos, but for those of you guys who have never seen me before, I'm a big proponent in point deductions immediately upon a foul. I am a big believer in that you are warned. I'm not a believer in it as in like I think it happens. It does happen. I'm a believer in that because you are warned before you come into the cage, any rule infraction should be a point deduction. Okay, that will be important when talking about this one. Although, actually, no, it will be important because it should have been 2-point deductions. Let's go through this stuff. Okay, so Marvin Vettori taking on Roman Dolidze. I wasn't really pumped up for this one. It's a rematch of a fight that was lackluster the first time. Wasn't even that. I mean, it wasn't super exciting. I mean, Marvin Vettori, I think was what he's ranked 8th, and Dolidze's 11, if I'm not mistaken. 12. 8 and 12. It's not, and we'll go through the scorecards afterwards. It's not, this fight wasn't the most entertaining to watch anyway. It had its moments, but if you're going to watch something from this weekend and you're trying to get your MMA fix, there was some good stuff on the one card, like the ONE FC card, and then also the prelims. Watch the first 3 or 4 fights on the prelims. Freaking bangers. It's fantastic. I'll break those down in the next video. It's also crazy that Marvin Vettori is the smaller guy in there. He's usually a pretty stocky dude, and it doesn't look undersized for the division, but against Dolidze, he does. Vettori with a low kick heavy offense early, with Dolidze lunging in with hooks and trying to counter with it. And most of the stuff was missing. Dolidze really wants that big right hand counter. Vettori content to lead and duck, just moving in, ducking out of the way of those big right hands. The volume for Vettori is putting him out in front, and I had 10-9, and none of those big shots really landed for Dolidze. Looking at the striking numbers here, 19-17 in favor of Vettori. The headshots were 8-9 in favor of Dolidze. The leg kicks, I mean, maybe you could give this to Dolidze. I didn't see it. I gave this first round to Vettori. We'll go through this. Like I said, we'll go through the scorecards afterwards. This isn't where the controversy starts for me. Dolidze, the second round is where it starts. Dolidze warned about fingers mid-round. So in between round 1 and 2, Herb Dean, Mr. I won't take a point unless somebody dies in here or pulls out a knife, he goes over to Dolidze and says, hey, you need to point your fingers up. I'm warning you right now. And okay, so like Dolidze is having some success, and then Vettori lands these beautiful shots and then gets poked in the eye from Dolidze with an open hand. So you would figure, because you were warned, right, because he was warned mid-round, that this would be an automatic point deduction, right? Not even automatic point deduction, it's just the next series of events. Whenever you're warned about doing something, the next time it happens, it should be a point deduction. Not the case. Last week we had a false positive, right? We had a false positive nut shot. Wasn't actually a low blow, and then there was a legitimate low blow from that same guy, and they took a point. And that same referee, Mark Smith, on this card, he did the same. He refused to take a point at that time. We'll talk about that in the next fight. It's just this shit just pisses me off. I know I'm stammering. It just makes me so upset watching these guys be able to break the rules because of their lack of discipline. Right? I'm not saying lack of discipline as far as training. I'm saying lack of discipline as far as adhering to the rule set. Okay? The punches behind the head, the pokes to the eyes, the kicks to the nuts, the grabbing of the fence. Not all of those things happen in this fight, but the point is, the guys who are more likely to do that are winning more often than not. I mean, you can go find the data yourself, or you can trust me because I've been paying attention to it for years now. I've been keeping track of the numbers, and it is beneficial to commit fouls. Not in themselves, but it's beneficial in that you don't have to watch what you're doing. You can just throw shit out there willy-nilly, put your hand out there unsafely, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you negatively because they don't take fucking points for it. In fact, all you're doing is damaging your opponent unfairly, I might add, right? Those blows are illegal. Like the low blows, the eye pokes, those are illegal shots. You're not allowed to do that. The damage caused by those is illegal. That damage does not count, but it doesn't count for scoring. But what happens is it does affect the fight. So they've been incentivizing fighters to play possum, essentially, to act like they're more hurt than they are. That's what they're doing. They want people to take a dive. They want people to really play up the damage. They want people to flop. That's what you're incentivizing, because the only time people are getting point deductions is when the reaction is large enough from the person who was fouled. It's fucking annoying. Anyway, no point deduction here. Dolidze now using the back fist after he missed. It was a really interesting adjustment that he made, because he was over swinging with that right hand, then he would just come back and back fist, and it was working. Andrei Arlovski did that quite a bit because he didn't have a follow up to the left hand, and he would just throw that back fist out there. So, it's an effective technique. I don't think it's going to knock anybody out necessarily, although, like I said, Travis Brown caught the negative end of that one and got rocked from it. So it is possible to do some damage, and it was working as far as effective offense. And Dolidze having much more success this round, still keeping his fingers out there. He got warned about his fingers being in the eyes of Vettori yet again this round. Still nothing. Didn't stop the fight. Didn't do anything about it. Should have been a neutral round. There should have been a 9-9 round, but it was not. Dolidze clearly won it, right, on the numbers, but he should have been deducted a point, so it should have been 9-9. Anyway, it wasn't. 31-21 for striking numbers in favor of Dolidze, 19-19 going into the third round. Huge left hand staggers Dolidze, and Vettori's right in his face. Dolidze gets back at it, gets his wits back about him. The guy's slowing the pace out there. Vettori is landing the cleaner stuff, but he started to lose his pace as the round went on, and Dolidze started to pick it up, but Dolidze wasn't able to make up the difference from getting rocked early in that round. So striking numbers 22-18 in favor of Vettori. I have him up 29-28. Fourth round. Okay, it's all about output and cardio at this point. If obviously one big shot could change anything, but really it looked like Dolidze was going to be able to carry this longer. Vettori's lack of octagon presence over the past couple of years has given him a little bit of ring rust, the cage corrosion. Dolidze keeping the pressure on and the pace, and Vettori trying with his counters, but his just output isn't high enough, and he's not going to win on the numbers. Vettori is waiting too much. Dolidze landing much more, getting out in front here. 37-21 for striking numbers in favor of Dolidze. Probably his best round of the fight. So I had it 38-38 going into the last round. Vettori standing his ground more, letting it go, dodging most of the stuff coming back, looking similar to how he did in the first round where he was having success. A lot of sloppy fighting from Dolidze with low blows. He's leading with his head. That was actually the second headbutt. There was a headbutt in the first round led by Dolidze as well, swinging his head back around. You can say they're all accidents. I don't care. It's not about intent. Intent is irrelevant when it comes to the fight action, right? It's the effect from the foul that matters. And all of these fouls, the headbutting, the low blows, Dolidze, as I wrote, he should go for a takedown, lay and pray, easy win for him. With 2 minutes left, Dolidze's up, and then finally there's a low blow that gets counted, and nothing. No fucking point deduction yet again. No point deduction. The dude has just been fouling his way through this fight. I'm not saying he's a dirty fighter. He is a sloppy fighter. He is a undisciplined fighter with his technique. He does not care about committing fouls because he knows there's no repercussions. Every fighter who does this, they all have a similar trait. They throw all the bullshit at the wall, and they don't care. And then, he pokes, then Vettori gets poked in the eye again, and Herb Dean doesn't even address it because there's only 45 seconds left, because time matters, right? If you get poked with 10 seconds left, just fight on, who cares? No, that's not how this fucking works. That's not how this works. A foul in the first 10 seconds is the same as a foul in the last 10 seconds. Anyway, Dolidze does win this last round as far as damage, right? 38-29, legitimately wins this round. So I had him winning 48-27. Now, if you look at the amount of fouls that occurred, there's at least 2-point deductions in there, if not 3. You take 2 points away, and it's clearly Vettori's win. Now, let's look at the scorecards and see what happens. Okay, so nobody, Mike Bell, Derek Clearly, and Saul D'Amato all gave Dolidze 4 rounds. They only gave Vettori that 3rd round. I wholeheartedly disagree with that 1st round. I think that 1st round and that 3rd round were Vettori's. And then the point deduction would if there were the legitimate point deductions where there were 3, it would have been a draw. And yeah, it's lame, but that's what we get when you have that stuff. Like, you have a guy fouling, that's what you're going to have. That's not on the referee. That's not on the onus is not on the guy getting fouled. The onus is not on the judges for that, for making it a draw. The onus is on the fouler, the guy committing the fucking fouls. Anyway, give Dolidze Brendan Allen. He'll probably beat Brendan Allen, but it's just I don't care. There's nothing like, people are excited by him because he hits hard and he's got a chin. I get that. That's fine. It's just I don't want to see him fighting for a title when he fights like this. Is this how you want your title fights to look? You want a title fight to look like this? With a guy just fouling his way to victory? Whether the fouls directly lead to the victory or not, you want that playing any part in your title, in your belt changing hands? No, nobody wants that shit. God, that's annoying. All right, let's just move on because there's plenty more complaining to be had. Elizeu, Zaleski, Dos Santos versus Chidi and Njokuani. Njokuani missing weight by over a pound. Not cool. It's not okay. It's still not okay. It's sanctioned cheating is exactly what it is. I am firm on that. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. There's people out there who have never cut weight before, who have never faced an opponent who missed weight. There's people out there who just don't know what it means to make that last pound. You can say all the things you want, like, oh, it's only a pound. What's the difference? That is the big difference. Okay, cutting weight is the problem. You can't make the weight, don't fight. That's why we have weight classes. You can't make the scheduled weight, the contracted weight. You're not in that weight class. I said weight too many times. Leg kicks from both guys. Njokuani digging some into the body, doing well, mixing up. He's got really good kicks, especially to the nuts, which he did land a really nice, clean nut shot. Beautiful stuff. No point deduction from Mark Smith. The guy who took a point deduction last week after 1 official nut shot, so that's cool. No consistency there. Good job, guy. Air Force veteran, appreciate him for that, but I've had my problems with him in the past. I actually appreciate his reffing more lately. Over the past 3 or 4 years, he's been pretty rock solid. I've had very little consistent complaints with him, but this is a big missed opportunity here. Because later on, well, you see it. Dos Santos is rushing in with the hands, finding an uppercut. He stuns Njokuani. Despite the stun, I actually would give the round to Njokuani. He outstruck him. I think the cumulative damage, despite being less important than instantaneous damage, right? 1 big punch is more important than 10 little punches. I think Njokuani did enough damage in this round to win it. He outstruck him 23-9. I thought he was looking like he was cruising to a victory. In the second round, the range of the kicks is really stopping Dos Santos from moving into range. And then an eye poke for Njokuani. Real fun fight with all the fucking fouls. All this whole night. So many fucking fouls. So gross. A knee from Njokuani landed in the clinch, and he puts him out after that. And, the guy who misses weight, he's the first guy who missed weight this year who got the win. Everybody else who has missed weight this year has lost. And then, the nut kick and the eye poke. So for good measure, just throwing in some extra fouls. All right, let's talk about a clean fight that I disagreed with the scoring on. Not a bad fight. The first round was exciting. Second round started out exciting and then got to be a little lackluster. Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh. Kurt Holobaugh is going to bring it. You know how to beat him. Take him down. Alexander Hernandez did not do that in the first round. Hernandez, as usual, flowing around the cage, smooth, using those long strikes, the low kicks, the lead hook. Holobaugh with the pressure, landing with that lead hook, trying to cut off the cage. they're trading with Hernandez leading, but if it goes this way, I thought Holobaugh had the path to victory because of his cardio. I know that Hernandez tends to tire out, and this pressure from Holobaugh is not going to stop. Hernandez's best shots are when he can enter, strike, not stay there for the return, and as your cardio starts to fade, the exits get less consistent. You get less active with your exits. You might still enter well, but that's when he's going to get caught. Hernandez gets the takedown, but falls into a guillotine attempt. Kind of. It wasn't the best guillotine. Holobaugh takes this one on damage, even though he was the one pressuring. Yeah, so he was the one pressuring. I gave him this round. I had him up 10-9. He landed more shots, 26-22. I thought he did more. He got taken down, but he did throw up that guillotine attempt. Was it a tight guillotine attempt? Was it close to a submission finish? Absolutely not. But it stopped Hernandez from doing anything, so it just counts as control time, and there wasn't that much control time. It was 14 seconds. Sorry, 9 seconds. 9 seconds of official control time. So I gave this to Holobaugh. I don't think that's controversial. Second round, the pressure from Holobaugh is relentless. His output has even increased in this round. If you look at his striking numbers, 78 attempted strikes in the second round, only 75 in the first, and that includes the fact that he got taken down near the end of this round, right? Alexander isn't quitting, but he needs to land something big. He doesn't. He does get the takedown, wasn't able to do much with it other than control. Maybe I could see somebody giving it to him for 2 minutes of control time, but he got damaged on the feet pretty darn good. 38-30. It's a close round. I valued the damage that Holobaugh did before it went to the ground because it was more than half the round that was spent on the feet, and more than half the round was Holobaugh leading the dance, doing more damage. So I gave him this round. So I had him up 20-18. Could be 19-19. This isn't. I don't think this is a robbery. Alexander into the takedown on top and stays on top pretty much the entire round. 4 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. Striking was 7-7, but that's not important. Holobaugh gets back up and back down. Alexander's best round by far. I had it for Holobaugh 29-28. Now, looking at the scorecards here. Oh, we didn't look at the Njokuani versus Dos Santos scorecards for that first round. I could have looked at those. Diyar clearly and Saldi Amato didn't count Njokuani's damage. Okay, whatever. All right, so Mike Bell, Eric Colon, and Brian Minner all gave that first round to Hernandez. I disagree. I disagree. I disagree a lot, actually. Yeah, he was being backed up the entire time. The damage was relatively even. And that second round, so Mike Bell and Brian Minner gave that second round to Holobaugh. Eric Colon wasn't, he didn't. So what about that second round? So Mike Bell and Brian Minner thought Holobaugh did more damage in the time that he spent on his feet, the 3 minutes he spent on his feet, than he did in the second round. That's baloney. Those are bad scorecards. That is not justifiable to me. Last round, everybody gave it to Hernandez. That is correct. Those are not justifiable scorecards for me. That doesn't make sense. The consistency between the rounds, right? I'm not saying that you can't have it 29-28 for Hernandez, but if you gave that first round to Hernandez, why wouldn't you give the second round to Hernandez? The striking was just as close, and he spent 2 minutes on top. What did you think? I don't know. That's fucking stupid. Moving on. Yeah, like I said, don't watch this main card. If you make it this far in the video, hit the like button. I appreciate you. But this card is not worth your time. Blackshear versus Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson coming out like a bat out of fucking hell, man. He came out hard. Blackshear got right in his face, and then Gibson turned the pressure up, right? And he was working the body, making Blackshear shell up. Gibson striking, sticking to those body shots. Blackshear looking for any space he can, but just can't stop Gibson from pushing forward. Gibson gets a takedown, ends up fighting off a Darce for the rest of the round, but the damage all went to Gibson in this first round. 30-6 for the damage. Clearly his round, even though he was fighting off that submission attempt to end the round, right? It was a guillotine, then turned into a Darce. So I had him up 10-9. Second round here. Blackshear opening up with the long hooks, and Gibson still digging to the body. Gibson gets a takedown, loses it yet again, ends up on bottom again, and then Blackshear gets the Kimura. Beautiful, beautiful technique by Blackshear. I'm not, there is nothing to complain about here, except for maybe Gibson's decision-making. why, when you're having that much success on the feet, would you go to the ground with somebody who, showed their ability to defend not only against your positional control, but your takedown advancement at I don't know. I know it's easy for me Monday morning quarterbacking here to tell Gibson what to do, and it's hard to fight off like 10 years, 20 years of training. I just feel like if Gibson had stayed on the feet, this would have been either his fight or at least much more competitive. I don't think he would have been finished by the way it was going. Yeah, no surprises on the scorecards. Everybody gave that first round to Gibson. Good. All right, here was a weird one. This was interesting to see. Diyar Nurgozhay? Yikes. I heard him say it. Oh, man, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. I might be putting the emphasis on the wrong syllables here. But Nurgozhay missed weight by 4.5 pounds. That's fucking unacceptable. I don't care what's going on. Like, you just should not fight the weight class then. It should make it a catch weight, as that's ridiculous. Ribeiro much more active with those kicks early as he's being backed up. Nurgozhay look a little slower with his movements, plotting with his attacks, but the activity is what's putting him behind this round. It's not the fact that he's not pressuring or anything. He's just not throwing enough out there, and Ribeiro is getting way out in front. Big right hand from Ribeiro puts him down. They get right back. He gets right back up. He's a tough son of a bitch. Ribeiro looks to land big down the stretch. Nurgozhay landing a hook to the side of the head, staggering him. It really went unnoticed. Nobody really talked about it, but Ribeiro landed more damage this round, no question. 23-15 for striking numbers in favor of Brendson. Second round, Ribeiro spamming leg kicks, getting warned about the cup. Was it Mark Smith? No, Herb Dean warns about the cup. Doesn't stop it. So I don't know what the hell that was. Did he kick the cup or not? If he did, stop the fight. He didn't? Why are you saying anything? Ribeiro gets the Kimura from... so he gets taken down, but then Ribeiro gets the Kimura finish from bottom. Beautiful submission finish. Excellent. Great. And yet again, the guys who miss weight this year are not doing so hot. So at least some cheating is going punished. Seungwoo Choi versus Kevin Vallejos. Choi doing a great job with those kicks, mixing up the targets. It's Vallejos, not Vallejos. Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin Vallejos. Choi doing a great job with those low kicks, mixing up the targets. Vallejos with the pressure, trying to counter with the hard 1-2. Vallejos staying with that pressure and that counterattack style, and then a big right-hand counter from Vallejos, puts him down, gets the follow-up finish. Excellent. If there's one fight you want to watch that one. Maybe the Ribeiro one is worth your time. All right, that's it for the main card. All the other stuff is going to be in the next video. I appreciate you stopping by. I know this video was relatively long, and it was just a lot of me bitching, but it's very frustrating. All right, being someone who consistently watches fights, regardless of the quality of the card, I just watch it. Like, I enjoy watching fights. What I don't enjoy watching is when the fouls take over the narrative in my head. Right? When I'm watching something and all I'm seeing is fouls, I'm just seeing undisciplined fights. It's disgusting. Like, I dislike that as much, if not more, than fighters with almost no skill. Because at least that can be fun sometimes. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out. I appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and love y'all. Peace.